Well, hello and welcome to the July 2019 Bertor Gripply podcast. I'm actually doing this one a month after doing the last one, so I think I'm actually on track for right now, so that's kind of good. I think it might be a little bit late. I think did the other one earlier in the month than this one, but some things have come up. But I'll get to that a little bit later during the rest of the intro. But thank you for tuning in to this new podcast video. For the background video of this, I'm thinking I'm going to go with EDF 5. I haven't recorded it yet, but I think it just depends on how well that comes through. I haven't tried recording too much on my setup since getting everything fixed, so it might be a little funky with all the lighting. If that's the case, I'll probably swap back over to uh, XCOM 2, because I've been playing that a decent bit recently as well. So probably either of those two, but most likely EDF 5, because I have been really enjoying that. But, again, to the rest of the intro, it's been an interesting month. For my mom's birthday, she wanted to go to a water park, which was fun. It was nice going there. It's a nice local place. Really, I would say, well managed. They gave you lots of free stuff compared to some other I guess water parks, music parks, theme parks, whatever that I've been to. Like, all the drinks are free, free sunscreen, free parking. Man, I went to Six Flags recently with the church, and that was really expensive. I think it was like $30 for a meal with a drink. Here it was $27 to get in, and it was like, I think $10 for 2 slices of pizza and some french fries, which I guess might have been a little expensive because they didn't include a drink, but the drinks were free, and you could just fill them up kind of wherever. They just had drink machines kind of scattered throughout the whole park. It was really nice going there, but it was funny. I went to the doctor like the week previous, around the 4th I think it's like the day before the 4th of July, so 3rd, to get my ears checked up, because I was having a really hard time hearing. I thought it was just my regular problem of it was just stopped up. No, my right ear was swollen. So they took a swab to check on it, tried to empty it out, seeing what might fix it. Thought it might just be like a sinus infection. Okay, I get back from the water park. Tuesday they call and mention, oh yeah, I have an infection in my ear. It's apparently a yeast infection, and don't get it wet. And I'm like, oh, I just went to the water park the previous day, so that's probably not going to help it. Also have a pool, so I mean, I've been swimming in the pool since then too. So I'm like, that's not going to be good for it. But that's all kinds of fun. Still dealing with that right now because it hasn't been too long since then. Well, man, I guess that was about 10 days ago. But still, yeah, that's been fun dealing with. I've tried using some earplugs things to like maybe help stop some liquid getting in there. But I think the problem with doing that is making the inside of my ear like sweat because it gets warm in there. I guess when you have it stuffed up, so that's just making it worse because I can't have moisture in the ear because of the yeast. So that's all kinds of fun right there, which I think is kind of hysterical. Also recently tried out some local place. They've noticed they opened up a restaurant like the downtown of my city. They don't have too much out there, so I don't really pay too much attention. Like, there's a library, a law office, then like a couple maybe furniture stores. We opened up a restaurant, went there, really enjoyed it. It's a little bit expensive, like $10 for a sandwich, but it was a pretty nice sandwich, so I'm kind of happy with it. It's a nice little newish local place. I think they opened up in February, so it took me to like just recently to notice it. But they do like specialty sandwiches, ice cream, novelty stuff. It was nice. But the big thing that happened recently is I have been officially promoted at work. One of the other assistant level design leads, she got an offer to have a job at 343 Studios working on Halo 5. So she now left for that, and then they went ahead and promoted me up to be the head of level design. So it's very nice. I'm finally getting that. I was kind of told I might be able to get that a while back, but there was some stuff that came up which I'd love to talk about, but I don't think I can legally discuss that for right now. I think it's a little bit too much behind the scenes stuff. But I finally have that promotion, and I got my first thing of paperwork with level design lead on it instead of assistant lead, so that made me very happy to actually finally have that. So that's kind of an update on stuff for me. So let's go ahead and get into our first topic. Over Father's Day, I went to go see the new Godzilla movie with my dad, and I wound up really enjoying it. I thought it had looked good, but I know the previous one was like okay, not too heavy on any of the stuff with Godzilla or the Mutos. Spent lots of time with the people. While I thought the people were okay, I didn't, but not ever really too offended by the people in movies like this. I mean, like, I've enjoyed the stuff with the kids in the Jurassic Park movies, so I guess I'm just the weird person. Uh, but I thought that it was all really well done here. You have lots of screen time for the monsters, lots of fights with the monsters, lots of like lore stuff expanded there. They introduced a couple new monsters, but they're just kind of more in the background. They show them like real quick, like some like news clippings while some other stuff's happening, and you see them a little bit in the end credits. They don't really mean too much. They all are like original. So I think there's another female Muto shows up, but I mean, they already designed them, so it makes sense to reuse them for this movie or to keep them going where they can use them again later, which I think was a real smart idea. But I will say I was a little disappointed with that, with them being all original. I was hoping maybe we might get like an Anguirus, or maybe like a Titansaurus, Titantosaurus, I can't remember how you call it, or those Cucamonga, I think was the name, or just something from the other things. I do think lots of the creatures are cool, but I guess this also makes it where they're just kind of expendable, and it's okay you didn't see too much of them. You don't have to worry about, oh, I love Anguirus, we got no screen time with him. I think what little bit I saw of them, they looked cool. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. There was a Muto. There was something else, like maybe a mountain. I really did not see too much of that. And there was one who I thought looked really cool. I hope we can get some more with them. It was like a giant gorilla, but had like mammoth tusks or something like that. You just see a little bitty clip of it. I think he's actually the one you see the most of. Oh, the clearest shot. I think it was daytime in the city he was attacking, and it just had him like turning, and his tusks were ripping through a skyscraper. So some interesting things. Look forward to seeing some more stuff with them later. But it was nothing like if you were hoping to see other characters besides Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Godzilla. You didn't see any of them. The hints, the stuff talking a little bit about King Kong, enough to know that, like, yeah, this is definitely going to be the sequel, the follow-up to this movie, which I'm looking forward to that. But the monsters were good, and I would say the people were pretty good too. The organization of Monarch is, I say, pretty nice. They're a little bit like a nearby, I don't know, paramilitary. I think they're technically part of like the U.S. government, so I guess that's where they have this. They have soldiers, I think, from there. It's not exactly mercenary, although they are. They have balls. They shoot King Ghidorah with assault rifles at one point to distract him. King Ghidorah is a giant three-headed space dragon, so I wouldn't probably recommend doing that, but they did it. That was kind of cool. But I liked how they had them. They were just all kind of tough, rough people. It's some interesting scientists. They were fun characters. It was the technology they had was kind of cool. A giant flying aircraft base, or a giant flying aircraft that could hold other aircraft on it. They had this cool underwater base, oil platform type thing that had some big old cannons on it. Just lots of like cool stuff, but nothing where it's like this is almost too futuristic. I don't think they had like any lasers or anything. Maybe the underwater guns. I don't know. They had some big old guns underwater, but they never actually used them. They also had nukes, which I thought was interesting that Monarch had some access to nuclear weapons, but they did. I think that was very good. I liked the, I guess, bad guy of the movie, or the bad guy human organization. They were also interesting. You didn't get too much with them, but what you did get, I enjoyed it. I thought the main villain dude was kind of, I don't want to say charismatic, but he was kind of fun, and he was better than I was thought your average, oh, he wants to reawaken this stuff to wipe off humanity because humanity's a disease or something. He's a little bit cooler than that. And I'm looking forward to seeing some more stuff with that. Like, the characters, I think, were really good. They had a few, I think, returning scientist people from Monarch. But I think from that, everybody basically was, like, new for this movie. And I think they did a good job of making the people for this movie. And I hope they can continue that with Kong versus King Kong versus Godzilla, Godzilla versus King Kong. I can't remember which one comes first. And Godzilla 3. Godzilla 3, if they do what I think they're going to do, or they might could do, they have lots of very interesting things they can call upon with things they set up from this movie, because they had lots of things kind of maybe alluded to if you were familiar with some of the different things in the comics. Like, they didn't specifically make mention of some of these things, but they've introduced things where some fun things can come from. I know that there's things lots there, but I don't want to be too spoiler-ish about what could all appear later. And also the good thing, like I mentioned earlier, with the extra monsters all being original in this, is that does leave it open for them to bring them in anytime later. You don't have to worry about that. Maybe they already used them. I think like all the catalog they could basically be used again, because I don't think any of these people were anybody. So I think that's definitely good. But we'll say that I think the biggest thing the movie did for me is make me want to play a Godzilla game again. And I tried looking it up. There's like no new Godzilla games. I think only got new Godzilla games are mobile games, which most of them are kind of like, you know, not so good. Maybe have already been cancelled. Not really what I wanted with a Godzilla game. I mean, it's kind of like you kind of use Godzilla a little bit, but it's not like I'm fighting Godzilla against Megalon. Megalon? Yeah, I think Megalon. I'm just gonna think of Megadon when I say that, like the giant shark. I can't fight against Anguirus, Space Godzilla, Biollante, any of those things. So it was a little bit sad because, oh gosh, I really liked, I think it was Godzilla Saves the Earth for PlayStation 2, which I think I still have that. At some point I want to maybe break those out and play them. I think that one's going to work better. I have the game for the Wii too, but I think the Wii take a little bit longer to set up than the PlayStation 2. So I might go back and play that. Thought that game was pretty fun. I like being able to pick up different things and like throwing buildings, picking up smokestack pipes, beating people with them. I thought the mask, for the most part, was pretty decent in there. Nice roster, which I still think the roster is pretty good. I think I might appreciate it a little bit more because I will admit, as a kid, I didn't think it was that interesting to have like 4 different versions of Godzilla. Why do we have like 3 different versions of Mecha Godzilla? What's the difference between Ghidorah and Mecha King Ghidorah? All those things, but I think I will appreciate them a little bit more now that I'm a little bit more familiar with them and know a little bit more about some of the differences, because to me it was just like, oh, that one's a little bit different. I want to try the one that looks a little bit cooler, and plus I think the newer Godzillas look a little bit cooler than the older ones. Although the older ones do have more the look of, you can kind of tell it's a guy in the suit. I mean, because it was a guy in the suit, but now you don't have to have it be a guy in the suit. So I think that could be pretty cool. Although, we'll say, I think it was funny looking up some of the people in the movie for, like the latest Godzilla movie. There was lots of people I kind of recognized in there. It was interesting. They actually credited 3 different people for playing King Ghidorah, because there was a different person doing the mocap for each of its heads. I thought that was cool. They had 3 different people in there doing the mocap at the same time for King Ghidorah. Just a little interesting tidbit I picked up there. But I thought that game was good. But then I got, I think it was Godzilla Unleashed for the Wii. I think I do like that game a little bit better. I think the levels were maybe a little bit cool. I can't remember if you could pick up stuff and throw it. I think maybe a little bit smaller in there. I think like some of the, I always remember some of the buildings being taller than you this time. But I think that one had a slightly better roster, or at least I remember Biolante being there, and I really liked them. They were really different, although I think there might have been some ones dropped between those two games. Although I think maybe that game had like a few less Godzillas, so we were able to, I guess, add in more roster, but not including all the different types of them. I think I remember Space Godzilla being in there like a special boss enemy, so you maybe had to unlock it or something. I don't know. Curious to maybe break them out again, play them. Really surprised nobody's tried to make anything like that again. I think they would still be pretty big. You still probably have a decent amount of sales. It could basically just be the same basic game with just like improved graphics and maybe, I don't know, some slightly nicer controls or models or something. I don't know. It really surprised that there were anything else made for that. Which is actually funny because I did look up, like I said earlier, see if there was any new games made, and there was one mobile game I did try. I don't know if I can say it's exactly good, but it's, I think, Godzilla Defense Force or something along those lines. They said, I think Godzilla Defense Force. I think other times they say Earth Defense Force, EDF, which I like that because I've also been playing that. But that's talk about that later. But they sometimes just call themselves that in the game. I think it's the Japanese Defense Force. I don't know. They keep on changing whatever Defense Force. But it's kind of like an clicker thing where there's like a base or city being attacked, there's waves of enemies, every like 10 waves is like a Godzilla creature, and when you kill that or beat it, you collect a card that you can use later during battles, and they have some special things, just kind of increase like your attack speed, reproduction speed, all that kind of stuff. But it's nice they have actually like the cards, you can look at them, have some pictures from the different movies, a little bit of a history about the thing. Some of them are a little bit lacking. They could definitely be longer, but nice little write-ups. And they kind of split like, this is Godzilla 58, this is Godzilla 62, Godzilla 04, Godzilla 99. Here's this random walrus kaiju. I don't think it's related at all to Godzilla, but it might have been made by the Toho people or something. Just nice little things like that. I don't say it's exactly a good game, but I've had fun doing it. You just kind of build up your defenses in the city. There are like 6 different structures that produce units that attack. Some of them are kind of interesting, although I do think the waves of enemies are kind of weird with what attacks you. I think like your first one, you get attacked by, oh gosh, I think it was Hedorah, that giant shrimp. I think it's like his first appearance, because then there's another one, he appears later. It's like the 04 version or something, which I do like how they do that. So I'm like, okay, I could see this. I don't think like one of the strongest Godzilla creatures, or not one that I have in my head is like, okay, he's a powerful one. Next creature you fight, Gigan. I think it's like maybe one of his earlier versions. I can't remember what was his first appearance, but that was kind of shocking, because like that really stepped up a bit. I'd probably put Gigan more towards the end for powerful creatures. I mean, maybe he's not actually supposed to be, but he always seemed like he'd be one of them that's a little bit more powerful. Like, I'd put Baragon earlier, the walrus creature, definitely put him earlier. A couple of the different spiders and praying mantises, yeah, put them up a little bit earlier. Some of those different things, but kind of just does it all randomly, like you're facing different Godzillas each time, which is also a little bit interesting. I like how they have that many different versions of him. But it is weird how some of the scaling goes. I think your first Cucamonga, I think that's the name. I might be pronouncing it completely wrong, but it's the spider, I think like Trap Baby Godzilla or something. He's like your first boss on like the second map, and that requires you to beat Godzilla like 2 times, maybe 3 times, like, depending on how your leveling's going. Because you lock it based on a level that resets each time. Like you can go back in time and restart and get some bonuses, so you can speed it up. We still get to about, I think, like second Godzilla, or I do, before I get enough points to unlock the second area. So I've already beat Godzilla 2 times, and now I'm fighting this spider. It feels a little bit weird, some of the stuff. Like, I think I already have like Perfect Destroyer or something, and I have like Cretaceous, King Ghidorah, Desi Ghidorah, and all these other things, which I'm not all too familiar with them. Which I like Godzilla. I have watched all the movies, and probably should at some point. Some of these things actually kind of sound interesting, but it's just nice. It teaches you a little bit about some of the different creatures. I open it up every now and then to collect some stuff. It's just nice for some of the extra little things. Like you also can get like free card summons, and it's like trash basically, but it's like, oh, this is the high voltage plate they used to take out Hedora. Ebera, I think's this shrimp, and Hedora's the smog monster. I'm to get some of the names confused, but something like that. It's like the plates they used to do that. Mind control device, a Kilak, UFO, whatever the laser gun things are. It's just some nice little extra fluff floor. You can get some of those, which I still actually want to collect all that. I just don't have all of them yet, which is weird. I'm getting a whole lots of dupes of other things. There's some of the really high levels. I'm just not. There's just a couple trash ones that I haven't gotten yet, while it's still eluding me, just my completionist sake. But yeah, that's that game. Well, let's see. I actually have my phone up. I can bring it up. Let's see. What is it called? Godzilla DF. Let's see. I think Godzilla Defense Force. That's on the App Store. It was on, well, I can actually get it for Android. I think they had a couple other games, or something like only for iOS. And I think like the last actual, well, I consider Godzilla game was something they made for the PlayStation 4, but it's all like a while back. I think Total Biscuit might have did something on it back when I was still watching him, back when he was still alive, and it looked kind of trash, not as good as the other older games, so I never bothered checking it out more. Well, man, I don't have a PlayStation 4 too, so of course I wouldn't actually be able to buy it or play it or none of that stuff, but I mean that was a little bit disappointing. And I will say, with all of this, it has got me thinking about what I would do if I made a Godzilla game. Hello screen? Are we still working? My computer, I think, just went to sleep on me. That was... Okay, apparently I need to move my mouse every now and then because I have sleep mode finally set up properly on here. And it just went to sleep because I guess I hadn't been doing anything too long. Even though I am actively on here recording, I would think this should make it not freeze. But I guess because I didn't click anything on the mouse, I find that odd myself. But apparently that's the thing. But if I was going to make my own Godzilla game, or something like that, like giant creatures, because I love giant creatures, fighting it out. Gets me back into like a Rampage every now and then. There was something they made kind of like a Rampage. It was like in the 60s or something. Some just like random giant monsters. Like there was a plant monster, an alien, a robot, Godzilla, an ape, some different things. Was it Destroy All Humans? But it kind of made me think of that. I don't know what it was called. But like that, just different things like that. Also, like I know the movie got a lot of hate, but I kind of liked Skull Island. I like the creatures they have, like the other just random things that appear throughout the movie, besides like the major big ones. I always love those. Like I love the super long King Kong movie, I think Peter Jackson, with all the random creatures that he had appearing. And he had some dinosaurs. King Kong fought 2 T-Rexes. There was some giant spider things. Some worms were eating people. Just all that kind of weird creature stuff. I love that too. And I was thinking, what I would do is I'd have the game be split between like 2 separate parts. You'd have like your giant creature mode, and you would have like your people mode. The giant creature would be like you'd have your Godzilla out there fighting against the other creatures, and then your people mode, you would have like a maybe first person shooter, something like that, where you're just going through areas, and I guess you'd be like, I came up with like 3 different campaigns, so that you'd be like the good guys, bad guys, and mercenary guys, or something like that. You would fight against like littler creatures. Like, just cause Godzilla's there fighting doesn't mean maybe other small things aren't also fighting. Maybe the big creature led some smaller creatures to attack the city too. Or it's kind of like Cloverfield when you had like the parasites fall off the creature and start attacking people. Something like that. You would have a segment like that. Some of them might be unconnected. Like maybe you go to this game's version of Skull Island and you fight velociraptors, giant spiders, all that kind of stuff there. And then maybe at some points you might have it where like the levels are supposed to be kind of happening at the same time, and you can just kind of see the giant creatures going by outside of a window, so maybe you're fighting in a skyscraper for whatever reason while the two giant creatures are fighting outside, and you can see them kind of going by and fighting while you're in there out like a window or something. Just some nice visuals there. I was thinking like you'd have some type of King Kong type mammal creature. You would have your Godzilla giant lizard reptile type creature, and you'd probably have like some kind of bug or a little bit more weird alien type creature. So those would be your three different campaigns there for the creature. And then you'd also have like mercenaries, your equivalent of Monarch, and then your equivalent of the eco-terrorists trying to destroy the world with these creatures or something. Just to have like some different narrative paths. You have some twists and turns there, some slightly different weapons, some different maps, different things like that. I thought it would be fun. I will want to try to maybe flesh it out a little bit more at some point. I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. I know I would ever actually get around to making it. No, definitely I can't make it. At least not with my skill set, although I might actually be that pessimistic. But I mean, I do have a job, and I don't want to kind of have my hobby free time be spent making a game while I'm also, my regular job is making games too. Maybe if I was doing other things for my regular job. But I think it could be kind of interesting. Really surprised nobody has made any more Godzilla games or any type of game where it's just shooter and just shooting some strange creatures or something. I always like fighting against strange creatures. I think that's why I like things where you're shooter and you're fighting aliens. The aliens can just count as like the strange creatures. This is something that's a little bit different there. But I think that's kind of it for that segment. That's just my game idea. The stuff for that movie. I really wanted to film that, film this segment basically when I got done seeing the movie, but I think I saw like the movie like maybe a week after getting that last video out, and I didn't want to have them like back to back or a one-off segment for that. Keep it to the kind of one a month podcast, save it until then. But man, I just really like that movie. I'm probably going to actually buy that one when it comes out, which I also make me buy the other two previous ones, the Godzilla and the King Kong Skull Island, because I just really am on board with this cinematic universe now. It's just giving me some more Godzilla things. You've proven that you can make a really good one. I want to see what else y'all can make from now on. Let's see. Next subject. I swapped the things on my list. I was originally going to talk about my game idea, then the mobile game, which would have led into this a little bit better, but I tried to swap it up because I felt like they would lead a little bit better into it there. But I was going to make a little mention about Shadow Raid. I tried that. I kept on seeing advertisements for it. Looking for kind of some more mobile games. I kind of like the stuff where you collect things. It could have been interesting. I played it for a couple days. I deleted it. It sucks. It's not really that good. Leveling stuff takes way too long. You have to be actively there to do the auto leveling stuff. There's like a building you can get that you can stick a creature in to level. We only have one slot at a time. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe we'll just level it for me because there's one level at a time. Or I can level like 2 levels by doing a mission. But some of the missions, they don't have a good low-level mission for your creatures to start leveling them up. So I'm like, I'll stick it here. So I go away, come back a day. It only leveled one time because I had to be there in 40 minutes to go ahead and collect the level before it would start leveling again. You can't just leave it there and it levels. Like, you leave it there for a week and now it's at max level because it was like a super low rank creature. Some of the odd stuff looked good, but like all the females was just hardly had any clothes on, and that was all the same models for all of them, and the few ones that did have clothes on looked just like the dude, but maybe he had they didn't have the helmet on and they had some hair that you could tell that this is actually a woman. All had like the same animation, idle animation stuff. The top section of the summonable things will totally outweigh the lower end. You only got lower end stuff easily. It was all kind of trash stuff. They had some cool looking things. Like there was some cool top level lizard things where you got like some dragons. The undead people had some cool like hellhounds, plague dogs, some different things like that. But the game was just not fun, and I just sat there and let everything auto, and I could never run out of energy. They kept on leveling me so much. I had like 500 energy and supposed to have a max of like 60. And I never could use all of it up. And I never could actually find a mission to do any kind of good leveling. There's so many different systems of you have to use this creature to upgrade that and this for that. I'm a collector. I want to collect them all. I want to have a powerful rank 1 trash dog creature. No, I can't do that in here. That's max levels 10. You want to upgrade that to something else that can get to like level 30 or something. It's just trash. It wasn't worth it. They had like 25 pop-ups. The time I came back to the main menu, wanted me to get me to buy stuff. Just don't do it. The only reason everybody's talking about Shadow Raiders is the pay to talk about it. It's not worth it. I was really disappointed by that. So I deleted that already. That was like less than a week on my phone. That's already gone. Another game I tried recently was Lego Towers. It's pretty fun. I will admit, though, I haven't really been playing it as much recently, although I don't have as much. I've been playing some of my other games that have more like actual gameplay there. There's a lot more leave it be with Lego Towers. But I still like some of the things they had there. I like being able to collect different pieces to make minifigures with so you can customize your people you had. I like some of the design on the different rooms, although I kind of wish I could look at it more, because I think they have some really nice designs, but with my eyes and on a screen the size of my phone, I can't really appreciate the detail all that much. It's nice. I might recommend getting it. It looks pretty fun. I've enjoyed a little bit of gameplay it offers, but doesn't actually offer too much gameplay. But if you want something you check every now and then, it's not bad. There's nothing. Well, I mean, you think you get some free daily pieces if you sign in each day, but it's not like one of those where you have like a 7-day login streak and you get something good at the end. They don't have anything like that. You can leave it there for a while, come back, collect a whole bunch of money, get some more stuff done. It's just kind of basic. I've been told it's Nimble Towers. So it's based off of somebody else's game that I think I heard they made back in the 90s or something, but the same studio made this one. So I don't know. I see some stuff people complaining about. It's just like this game, but it's from the same people, so it's not like it's a rip-off of something else. And I think if the game they haven't made another one since the 90s, it's fair game. Go ahead and rip it off. There's lots of games I'd like to see made more of that I haven't played since the 90s. I would love some more good Hot Wheels games too. I used to love them as a child. It was Hot Wheels Velocity X. Really loved that one. I finally played that like maybe 10 years ago when I actually knew enough stuff to be able to actually beat it. Because as a little kid, I was, oh, you have rules? I'm not good at this. I hit this and I lose time. I can't do that. I went back and beat that. That was awesome. It was really outdated then, but hey, still fun. We just love more people to update some of these old games. But we could have a whole podcast talking about old games. I might do that at some point. But this other thing I want to talk about after the Lego Towers, while we're still on the topic of Legos, they did release, I'm not sure if it's actually released now. I know they at least released pictures of it. I would love to get it, but I don't have anywhere to put that. Nothing that big, and the money there. But they released a special Jurassic Park, I'll say like a mega set. That's what I have written in my notes. It's a like opening gate. I don't think it comes with a Jeep though, but it has a whole bunch of little like rooms within the gate, or like the back of the gate with like scenes from the movie. Nice little detail there. Lots of minifigures. A giant, looks like maybe 2 foot tall, brick built T-Rex that looks awesome. It's I think like a between $200 and $300 set, a couple thousand pieces. Looks awesome, like a nice collector's item. I would love to have it. I just don't have room in my shed to put that kind of stuff. I've already taken up the space where I have room to actually put tall stuff. That's already taken up and it really wouldn't fit in there. But that set looks awesome. I've also announced some more stuff, like sets for next year, which I think is funny because I don't know if the new sets are even out so far yet for this year. I mean, they announced stuff for next year for a theme that hasn't even been released yet, which I thought that was kind of funny. But I think Hidden Side. I always want to say Hidden Inside for some reason. That's getting continued then, although that doesn't really mean anything because it hasn't actually been released yet, so that doesn't mean it has done good enough to get some more wave. But that looks interesting. I heard a lot of people describe it as like a Stranger Things Lego thing. I'm not too familiar with Stranger Things, but I know it's kind of popular, so that hopefully will do good. I know some of the designs there look really interesting. Some of the builds, I think like some old-fashioned diners, like old-fashioned burger joint. There's like a train. The minifigures look cool. Some of the ghosts look cool. So I'm happy that's continuing. I would like some more themes that run on for a little while. Ninjago is okay, but I haven't followed it since like they did. I didn't even watch the robot reboot one, so I'm like however many seasons behind. Like I do get some of the sets every now and then because they have some cool minifigures, some cool locations. I didn't get the play sets. Like there was one that had like the pirate big fig. Love that set. Just looked cool. I can just add that into my city. Some of the different places I have, like the water areas. Just cool little island piece. So I get some sets every now and then, but I don't follow it too much. But I'd love some more things like that. Loved Nexo Knights. Never really watched the show, but I knew that when that was released, that was definitely aimed at a younger audience than myself. So I knew it probably wouldn't be anything I'd be super careful. But I always loved the enemy designs. I loved the enemy vehicles. How they're supposed to be like living things. Most of the Knights stuff looked kind of cool. I like that techie medieval look. Love some of the other, I think the Wave 2 creatures. Never saw too much of the Wave 3, but I know that kind of ended quickly there, which is kind of sad about, because I also really want to get more of the Wave 2. I might, once I'm making some money, buy a whole lot of the old sets for those. There's a whole list of old sets I need to buy at some point, or I want to buy at some point to add into my collection. Never got them when they came out. There's a whole bunch of Exo Force, Sentai Fortress, different things. Oh, that's going to cost so much money, but they're going to look so cool. They always look so cool. I need to buy all of Mars Mission, but that's some other time. I'll talk more about that later. But I really hope there's some other, I think some people call them evergreen sets, although I don't know if I'd really call Ninjago evergreen. I mean, I guess it's been going for long enough, although it hasn't been cancelled at one point, so I guess maybe that's not too evergreen proof. But it's just something that lasts maybe like 3 or 4 years or something. Just something that can last longer. So it's not like every new year there's a couple new thing to catch up with, a new thing to follow. I mean, some of those things are good. Like I'm okay with the Dino thing, maybe not lasting all too long or nothing. But I also like some of those things where it's not like a too in-depth story. It's like this could easily be a spin-off of City, which I like that they've done that with some of the, like I think like rainforest sets, the space sets, the ocean sets. I love how they do some of that stuff. I'm really loving City right now. I haven't heard anything about the City stuff for next year though. Hoping that's going to be cool. But for something that's not easily connectable to like City, which is like my main setup, I would like it to be able to continue a little bit longer. And I'm hoping this will be one of them. There was some more stuff about Marvel, some more stuff for Spider-Man, which I like how those are split up. I'm not really too interested in any of those. I think they're doing some like stuff from the latest Avengers movie, which I still haven't seen. But they're like not really from the movie. Like they had a helicopter dropping off Hulk to go smash some different things in the quantum realm or something for one of the sets, which is coming up apparently next year. But I already saw pictures of it like a month or two ago, so it feels really weird. Like it's listed in the announcements for the stuff coming out next year, which I feel weird having already seen it because I feel like it should kind of be releasing this season or something. So you're probably going to hear lots of sets that aren't really related to the movie, but they look cool. In my opinion, the set looked kind of okay. Some of the things look cool there. I don't think there's any too much of a mention of playsets. Well, I am also a fan of playsets a little bit more than some vehicles. Some of the vehicles are interesting, and I'm a sucker for some cool looking vehicles because I like lots of them. But anything I can just add into my city or like my setup, like an actual base of just vehicles, I like that a whole lot better, and I'm much more likely to buy that set. Some things kind of a little bit disappointed they haven't talked too much about that. There's some more Overwatch sets. Don't care for Overwatch, so I'm not getting those. I think there's a couple more Harry Potter sets. Don't be careful, Harry Potter. Don't have a Harry Potter setup. There's nothing more there. But I did want to talk about what they had announced with Hidden Side, because I do want that one to do well and be able to continue going for as long as it possibly can. But next topic, some more stuff with Dragalia Lost. Talked about that a little bit last time. I think there was a whole lot of stuff I skipped over. I realized after doing that I wanted to talk about, which really kind of disappointed me. But I do also maybe want to talk about that maybe each time I do one of these things, because I mean the game is constantly being updated. I really enjoy. I played it I think I got it maybe 2 days after it came out, or like when it was released. Because when I saw it was supposed to be like the 27th, but released the 24th or something. So I was a little bit late. I still got there before that. I just happened to check something, like one of these news articles I saw of some gaming stuff made some mention about already dropping in, I think, Europe. And I was just like, oh well, it won't drop to the 27th over here in America. But then I'm like, now let me go ahead and check. They said something about it's now released on Android as opposed to just iOS. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's released, so I got a couple days late. I think I missed one day playing it, but I basically played it every day since it's been released. So it's kind of big in my opinion. I really do enjoy the game. It still has some issues. I'll probably do a review on it at some point for Crash Game. I still have to finish the last review I'm doing for them. That game's a little bit of a slug. But like if I do that, it might get like almost a 5 instability because it can be iffy there. But as many problems I'm having with some of the things with the game, I still really enjoy it. It's still really fun. So I want to talk about it more. Let's see. Since last time I talked a lot about the state, like the reruns and events that really couldn't work. It seems a little bit more stable now. I've had it crash a couple times on me, but I'm still running like the lowest settings possible on there. So I don't know if that might just be why. But some of the stuff since then has been a little bit better. I've still had, I think, a couple reruns. I know we had the Garuda Tales to the Sky, I think that was the name of it, event. That got rerun. We had the Heralds of Hinamoto rerun. No, Heralds of Hinamoto. Eastern Emissaries. Actually, I don't remember which one. Cause I know there's a banner name and then there's the event name. Sometimes I get them confused which was which. I think Eastern Emissaries was the banner, which got rerun. I think I mentioned that last time. But I think the Heralds of Hinamoto event happened after that. I don't think that was maybe going last time, or maybe I talked about. I don't remember exactly. So we've had a couple reruns. We had a new event. Wudang. I think Wudang was the kid's name. That wasn't Wudashi. I can't remember what the enemy's name was. But it was something with the it's not Quillen. I'm gonna say Quillen, like Quillam. I think they call them Chillin, which I think that's a funky name for a race. But there's some more stuff for the Chillin people because they've introduced them as like a concept. And some units that I never had. Apparently there was some people with horns. I think there was like one old guy we saw in the Luna Festival event that had like horns, but I know that was a decorative thing. We have a whole bunch of people that have tails who are just furries. They're not actual like animal people. They have ears and tails, but they're like clip-ons or something. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of furries apparently running around. Well, I mean, there's all lots of animal creatures apparently to boink or something. So I guess maybe that's not too odd. But they introduced them. These are like div people. They gave us a free unit that's actually one of them, which I was really happy about. Well, I like some of what they have done with the different races. They're not, well, what's it? Maybe they are adding some stuff in. It's like along the lines of classical fantasy races. I do think the deer people are a little bit different. I like the history with them, with backstory. They have like advanced civilizations, all of these cool magical items, but I think they just invented too many powerful things that like brought down the society. They invented like too many maybe not weapons, but like one thing was it was like an infinite storage pouch or something. You could just suck into like a pocket dimension. Something like that's kind of big. I would imagine that could maybe go wrong easily. Something like that. Apparently brought about collapsed society a long time ago, which also like some more ancient races and other things. So apparently the world's been like destroyed many times, or humanity's been wiped out, or other forms of life have been wiped out. But it was cool also now actually seeing this person in the 3D model. I believe she actually has hooves, or it looks more like hooves than feet. Although like your characters really have like a foot per se. I think it's one of those that kind of just have like the leg there, but it looks like her feet end with hooves, so it's not just like they have antlers. They actually have a little bit different there with the feet. I don't think there's anything with the butt, but she's modestly dressed, so you don't have too much showing off. I mean, we've had, I think, there was that old man, which I didn't know about him. I mean, he was just kind of special. He, I think, invented or founded the city 100 years ago, and he showed up and still looked. I mean, he was old, but I was kind of surprised that he was still alive. But I think they live a decent life compared to humans. I think they might live longer than Sylvans. Uh, but we saw him, which I don't know if he was really special or not. They say he was from the Chillin tribe, but so were like the other people. It was founded, or the city was a Chillin city or something. But I think it was just founded by them. I think they were supposed to be like Taiwanese people almost or something. There was some issue like when that first coming out about they might be doing like a Taiwan thing, how that happened with China, and just some interesting stuff there. But we saw him. We had this portrait, but it was like from kind of like from the waist up. It was just a picture of him. And then apparently, I think in Lin Yu, which I forgot her, I still need to finish reading her story. Enjoy having her. There was, I think, a flashback, or you saw somebody else of the Chillin tribe, and she had antlers too, which I never haven't seen that. So there was lots of speculation before this new character came out about what are actually the Chillin people. Do they actually have antlers or some kind of deer creature? Which I also think is telling that for the free dragon for that event, because it was a raid event, so we get a free character and a free dragon. The dragon was like a deer creature. It was the same like body as the unicorn, but had like 2 horns on it, which I thought that was interesting. He was like the person's seat. Didn't really do too much about him or anything, which I was kind of sad about. He looked interesting, like some of the non-dragon dragon creatures in the game. But so before we got her, we didn't really know too much about like if they're actually deer creatures or not, or deer people, magical deers. They could have been dragons. I think this is about the descendants of dragons, maybe, or something. Something was mentioned about dragons, but it was kind of weird because it looked more like deer. But you also had this deer dragon show up, and we just recently in our current event got another bear dragon. I mean, dragons can kind of be anything, so it doesn't really matter. But I thought it was interesting. They kind of looked like they were part deer, but something about maybe descendants of dragons. But when we got her, she has like a ribbon on, but the ribbon goes like right under the horns, where like it looks like it could maybe be like a clip-on or like reindeer antlers you put on for like Christmas or something. But when you actually could look at a 3D model, you could see the feet. So I thought that was interesting to find out that they are like in fact a different race or species or however you would call that. I don't know, demi-human. I don't know what all that. I mean, it's fantasy stuff, so I don't think there's any actual scientific stuff or what you would call like human, but kind of not. But it's nice to find a little bit about the society, some of the different things they did. Thought that event, for the most part, was pretty good. We got like a nightmare raid on that, which is kind of eh. I've basically decided I'm not going to even try doing the nightmare raids. They take so long to kind of train for. Also, I'm at the point now where the like EX raids are kind of like a cakewalk. I don't even have to like learn the moves. I can just kind of take all the hits. So it's really hard for me to learn that to then do the nightmare raids, which take a long time to find a good party for. You kind of have to be like 19,000 might, 200,000 might, not 200,000, 20,000 might, excuse me, and my last people are joining like with 15,000 might, so it's lots of, like I don't want to be like elitist, but this is high level content. You probably should be joining if you're under this level. It's just so boring trying to farm it. You might lose and everybody leaves. I'm not going to try again because everybody's still learning what to do for it. It's really harsh time limit, and it gives you like one reward daily, like one special award. And I think most everybody said it was like a twinkling sand grain, so you had to get 10 of those to get twinkling sand. I have like 30 twinkling sands right now. I'm not too focused on making 5-star weapons currently, so I'm not too bothered by having to get as many of those possible. You might get like a summon ticket, or maybe a Damascus ingot or piece or something. But most of the awards I heard from other people have been so kind of disappointing. I'm not going to waste time doing that. I'm just going to go farm the slightly easier one and just call it there. But I thought that event was okay. It's just, thank God, I got kind of tired of it very quickly. I don't know. I wanted to be able to play it where it would be a challenge, so I'd actually have to learn his mechanics. It was the first time I'm getting a demi-human raid boss, so that was very different mechanics-wise there, because there wasn't really anything to break on him. I think he threw out a pole every now and then you could break, but it was very different, not like targeting his wings, targeting his legs or whatever. I guess he also had some kind of like special charge up orb things he did that you were supposed to like attack to prevent him from doing the attack. But overall, that event was very different. Also, I think my fire team was kind of a little weak there. So got it like 19,000 might. But I just kind of decided with that one, it wasn't worth it. I didn't bother doing it for the, I think, Sabnock Reflections of Refrain or something, the singing event. I didn't really bother doing it there. I think I did it one time, got something that wasn't really interesting. I was like, it's not worth me spending all this time and trying to raise prints and all this stuff just to do this, just to get that extra reward. I think I got more rewards for doing the EX raid than I did for doing that, so I just focused on doing the regular ones, just a whole lot more rewarding. But that event was good. Was able to do lots of stuff during the maybe it was called Wish to the Wind. I don't remember what all the events were called there. The one with Louise and what was Lowen and Garuda. Their event got to do lots of stuff. They got lots of nice items from that because I already had the building built, so I could trade in all of the like basic building materials you need. I think you might need, I don't know, I think over $5,000 to build, or 5,000 building materials to get. Cause like the last level is like 1,000. My thing just went to sleep on me again. So weird seeing that happen. You need like 1,000 for the last level. I think the level before that's 900 and 800, 700. It kind of adds up. I don't know how much like the total amount is. But then I had all these prints from it previously too. Was getting new prints. Just stuck all these prints on everybody. Went to Farm Town because I could farm it so easily. Got like the building material, traded that up to the blue material so I could buy items with it. I bought all these items. I think I was even down to the tablets. But people really like tablets. I've never really had too much of a problem with running out of tablets, but maybe because I'm also not building too many 5-star weapons. It's like it's that big of a deal to me. I think I got low on tablets. I went down to 600 or 400, 300, something like that when I built 2 5-star spears, for one for water, one for wind. So that's like as low as I got, but even then that's not like too big of a deal. I'm not too focused on that. I get them all the time for doing the Imperial Onslaughts. I don't know why everybody's too concerned with those, but I like bought all the crystals, all of the dragon fruits, the dragon hearts, the waters, the fruits, the special materials with like the ingots, crystals, sands, insignias, all that kind of stuff. So that was, I enjoyed that more than I think I've enjoyed the other reruns. I guess also like one of the first events. I think that was actually our second event. I always want to say the second event was the Halloween one, but we started like 24th of September, maybe somewhere around there. I think I actually did a correction in the last one when I said about when it came out. But whenever I did for that, so I don't think our second event would have been Halloween. It feels more likely we did have something else in between there. I know Paragoth, Pythagorean, whatever that thing. That's such weird names. But the Celeria event, I know that one was first. And then we had, I think it was the Wish to the Winds, and then maybe Halloween, or maybe we had one more before that. I don't really exactly remember. But it was still kind of early. Couldn't do too much of the content. I think I was able to do wherever their challenge battle was back then. But it was nice kind of playing that again. I was able to do the higher level one. Kind of got it down to farm status. So I never really moved up too much to that. The higher one, I've moved up quicker to it, I think, this time than I did last time. But I also did the higher level, the lower level challenge battle. Not the master challenge, I think just the regular challenge battle. Because you got increased, like, event points there. So you got to that 1 million point total to get all of the goodie rewards. So I did that first before moving up to the harder one. Because, at least in my opinion, for the harder one, you can't have all of the event prints on that gives you extra bonuses for like points. You kind of actually have to equip things that actually help you in battle. So didn't move on over to that too soon, but then was able to farm that for a bit. Been farming the hard one for a bit now, though I'm still having some of the prints on to get some more of the building material stuff, trade that over. I haven't been able to do that as much as I did last time because, oh boy, I love the trade over thing. I got so many of the special items you could buy. Haven't done as good this time, but actually having to build the the facility building. So actually have that built up now, so I can trade all of that stuff up to buy whatever I want to. Doing those couple of the boss battles, but mostly farming on the Master Challenge battle to get me the best rewards possible right now. Gosh, mine just went blank. But doing that right now, getting me as much as I can, because I don't have to worry about building that facility anymore. I think we have like 1 or 2 more days left of the event at this point. Really enjoyed this event. They actually mentioned what this is about. We actually got a story with the blacksmiths and how we got Ramona and her 2 sisters. We got her 2 sisters in the print a little while back, but for the most part we've just been focusing on her sister as a blacksmith. I have everybody but Ramona from this event. Well, I don't have the dragon either. We wouldn't mind having him with the dragon. He could be cool. But I got Renee and Rena. Both of those are nice. Rena's nice new fire 5-star I have. Although I think I like her sister better, the water dagger, which is a 4-star, so it's not as good. But I think she has like a team heal anytime she uses like her first move within like a 20-second recharge timer. I thought her sister, the 5-star dagger blade, had like the same thing, but she just has. I think every time she uses that, she either heals herself or gives herself a defense buff or something. I have some prints on her that, like, I think maybe does those interchangeably. Like, every time she receives a whatever up, she receives this up, or like a healing boost or something. So she has, like, all these different modifiers on it, which is nice. But I think the water one actually is a little bit more useful there, because it's like a team-wide heal instead of just maybe like a self-heal or a self-defense boost. We want to actually use the water dagger on some missions sometime soon to see how good she is, 'cause I think she will be pretty good. As much as I like my Dragon Yule Cleo, who I think is probably going to be better, she at least, this one afflicts Bog, and I think she has a different resistance too. I'm assuming she has a different resistance than Cleo. It's like I maybe use her on some different content, and I think she'll be pretty good. Really enjoy her design, but I've been enjoying this event. Thought the story was good. Man, there was a whole lot of story to read through. There was hardly any battles with this one, which is a little bit disappointing. I do wish they had a couple more battles, because as much as I like the story, I actually had to sit down and read through it to actually get to all of the events. I don't want to just skip it, so there's like a little bit of a big investment at the beginning of each of these new events to read through all the, so if we actually get to the good battle part or the farming stuff. But I have enjoyed this one. Should be coming up on a gala pretty soon. We're hoping to maybe get some stuff there. I'm curious who they're going to give us for the gala. Although I guess they always surprise me with somebody crazy. But at this point, I just want Cersei and Mim. M-Y-M. How do you pronounce it? I'm going to say Mim. But it's I'm probably pronouncing that right. Brunhilde. Waifu Dragon. I want to actually get her. Really pulled hard last time to get her. I didn't get anything. Didn't get any of the galas. Folks, I didn't get any. I got, I think, a decent number of 5-stars. It's got lots of new 5-star units. I got a couple 5-star dragons. Just didn't get what I wanted. I haven't gotten a single gala unit. I've pulled pretty decently on those banners, which is kind of surprising. Although I'm going to get Gala Ranzal, who is like lowest on my list, because I want Cersei, because we don't have her yet, and I like her character, although it's weird her design's different than like her regular version. Hoping we get her regular version. I like her art there a little bit more than what we got here. I guess maybe it's battle clothes instead of like her day-to-day clothes or something. But really want to get her, because I like her character, and we don't have her. Same for Mim. I really like her. Well, I guess I have Brunhilde, but I like her. And I think it'd be nice to have her. And I like her unique mechanics, but she only turns into Brunhilde no matter what other dragon you have equipped. And I think the second time onwards, she turns into High Brunhilde, which I think is kind of cool. I like the uniqueness there. Hoping maybe get something like that with the other high dragons at some point. I know they don't have any like human forms yet, but apparently anybody can just kind of do that. And I really like the mechanics there, the unique stuff with them, or with her being a dragon. So I'm just really looking forward to maybe getting some more of those later. That's why I really want those. I already have Ranzal, and I think this one, well, I know this one is better than his regular form, but that means I think the story would be interesting to read for him because I do like him. Makes me think with him being as a mercenary is kind of one of the more interesting stories of his of our main character's traveling companions. Like he's taking on like the role of the general of his armies and all this stuff, but I don't. I want some like new units more so than an alt for him. And then I guess whatever the new stuff, a new character would be. Still, a lot of people saying maybe it would be Leaf, although everybody's kind of been wrong guessing what next Gala unit would be. Well, I'm wondering if it'll be Cleo, because I feel like we got lots of Cleo-focused stuff this event. So I'm curious if maybe they'll give her an alt, and we have a couple alts for her already, but I mean, they can always do something. But she got lots of love this story segment. Enjoyed this story segment. I don't think Shell, whatever her name isn't my favorite sibling, but that was interesting. Still don't trust her. I think whatever she's doing with Leaf is pretty interesting. But I did enjoy this story segment, introduced some new things rather nicely, I think. That was a good way to introduce the adventurer upgrades, is through that bit of the story. It kind of makes sense. Looking forward to the astral raids dropping tomorrow so I can get some more of those materials to upgrade my characters with. I am going to wipe the floor with Hypnos. Hypnos wasn't too much of a challenge back when they first released, and I don't think they're going to be a challenge now. I have a whole lot better fire units, a fire team. I've been doing a whole lot of fire stuff. It's going to be a slaughter, and I am looking forward to it. Probably might use the same team I'm using currently because I think, well, my farming team for this current fire event has Melsa on it, although I swapped her out for some other units to try to do actually some proper team composition there, which I actually love. I've used some units I would thought I was never really going to use. I think my team there is Carl. I have Sonoa, which I love Sonoa. I've been using her a lot already. So I think I've probably put it up to a 5-star. But I'm glad to be able to use her more. Carl, never thought I was going to be able to use him. I used Rena because I figured for she being new, she should probably be useful. And I just put her on there under the assumption that she had a heal skill like Renee? I think Renee? Rena? Something, the water dagger unit, the water dagger sister. I thought it would be the same skill that she had. She could act kind of like as my healer for the team, but she doesn't have that. But she's still pretty good. And then I have, what's her name? Yue. I think that's how she pronounced it when like the little play a voice line from. I believe that's what she actually says herself. Is Yue, Y-U-E. Used her. She's pretty good. She dies a lot. She dies a lot to Sonoa, but I think she also has a skill that like lowers her defense, but it allows her to heal a bit. But these things hit so hard, she just like instantly dies all the time. But it's been fun using some different units there. Might do the same for the Hypnos event, depending on the difficulty there. But I'm looking forward to farming that, getting some more materials, leveling up some more of my team. I've sent all my crystals I got from completing the story to Althemia. I love Althemia. She's my favorite character in the game. I just want to boost her up as much as possible because she is not meta at all. I mean, I think every character can be used in this game, but she's not like one of the better ones, or at least from my hair all the time. But I love her. I like using her. I like to use units I want to use as opposed to using what the meta says to use. So I'm going to be upgrading her. Currently, I feel like the game's going really well. Also, we're talking about the Gala. I've moved on for that too quickly. Looking forward to that. But I'm also looking forward to, I think they're supposed to be having a Samba banner sometime soon. So probably, a classical swimsuit thing. I'm looking forward to who they're going to use for that. Although I think some of my favorites won't be used because they've already gotten alts. It makes sense to give alts to the characters that don't have one yet. But I am looking forward to seeing who they're going to pick for that, if they do actually do it. But lots of people point out all the time, these swimsuit banners are too much of a money-making opportunity to miss out on. And I don't think they're going to do it. I mean, they did a bridal banner, which I think I forgot to mention that. They had a bridal banner for one of the event reruns. I think that was the ones with Louise and Garuda. I think that was the wedding bells. Love that. It was interesting, man. I got all the units for that, which I was really surprised about. Even though I wasn't really pulling too much to get them, I got all of those. So my Uh, Green team has lots of stuff, which also I don't maybe so much use Gala Ranzel because I have Battle Ellie with the sword, so I really wouldn't be using him too much with her debuffs and heals and all that kind of stuff. I think she's a little bit better personally. Uh, Also, I love the story event they had with them. I mean, it wasn't like a story, but it was the castle stories. They gave you a 3-part castle story that unlocked after a couple number of days and gave you 3 looking glasses to be able to view them. It was nice. Got to see lots of other random characters interacting in this story, trying to make a wedding. Thought it was really nice. Although I really wish Xania would have had a nice wedding because she went for like a calm fake wedding. Well, I mean, everybody was having a fake wedding, but she didn't go anything over the top. Just families and friends. Little small thing in the chapel, nothing too big. Everybody else went over the top and they couldn't get it done. But hers, they were just like, oh, it's just boring. It lacks no character. I wish she would. It would have worked fine. I like Xania. Xania is also one of my favorite fire units. Although, well, fire wands, which I love her. I think she's maybe a 5-star too. But I think I use Sonoa a little bit more over her now. Well, most of the content I'm doing, Sonoa works better for. But I do like Sonoa's first ability that's like, here's a random buff. It might be a HP regen, it might be a defense up, might be a damage or strength up, or a crit damage, or crit percent. Which I just kind of like how it's just random there. I like how it's just me. I might not got anything good this time, or what am I going to get? Oh, I got extra plus 15% crit damage on my unit that's not built around doing any crit stuff at all. Oh well, this will be fun. So I do like some of that randomness there, but like I said, I'm not like a meta player, so I like stuff like that. So I was really happy she got an alt, and I was pulling for, and she was a 4-star, but I got the 2 5-stars of Aoi? AOI, gosh. Aoi? No, Aoi. The name's not Aoi. AOI? I can't remember how she pronounces it. I have a tough time pronouncing it. But I like her. She was a 3-star I really liked. And I got Ellie, so I get random amounts of 5-stars. Speaking of which, for the free 5-star ticket, there's only 1 unit on there I don't have. I still have, I think, 3 5-star pool tickets. I was saving them up to add more stuff because I had like 6 on there I didn't have, but it was like 60% chance maybe I got somebody I already had, so I was going to wait. And even if they do add new stuff, it's still going to be terrible pull rates, but I'm saving those up for some point, but happy to finally be getting 5-stars. Don't have lots of dragons though, but I have lots of the 5-star characters. Still having 2 4-star units, 4-star adventurers elude me though, which I really want to get them. I think it's the... Oh gosh, what's her name? It's the one I was talking about, like a new furry. She has dog ears with her head. She has like a clip-on tail. And then it's Norwin was like a bunny archer and a hoodie dark unit. I don't know, they just seem... Oh, Serena was the one I'm thinking of for the another fire sword, which I don't really need, but I want to get... She looks interesting. I like the 3-star stories. She thinks she's a 4-star, but I mean those stories I think are normally my favorite. Norwin looks interesting. Look forward to maybe getting him at some point. Lower tier Darkbow would be good because I have built Nefaria up a lot, so I can reuse a lot of her gear for this person. I think he has different resistances than hers. I can use him and some other content to kind of recycle some of my Darkbow investment stuff. But then also, before the Gala banner, before the possibility of a summer banner, they also announced a new Dragon Showcase thing, which I was thinking about. I started writing the script for this a couple of days ago. Thinking like, oh yeah, I'm going to mention that. Those are all terrible. It'll be an easy skip, all that kind of stuff. They announced it. I'm actually going to do maybe 1 or 2 tentpoles on it. I'm surprised, but they've actually managed to bait me as much as I want to get some of the other stuff that I know is going to be coming up. They won't actually get me to pull on that one. They announced Nathalotep. I can't remember how you pronounce that. It's one of the things from Lovecraft. Added that in the Dragon a little while ago. Really want to get him. I love Lovecraft stuff. I would love to see what they do with Lovecraft stuff in here. I would love to get him. He sounds awesome. So I'm going to be pulling for him. They are adding another Dark Dragon, which I was really surprised about. But they are adding Nidhogg. They normally do like three different elements there, three different 5-star dragons, each from a different element. But now we have two dark 5-star dragons. We're adding Nidhogg. Nidhogg was one that's been since the beginning. Never managed to get him. Want to get him. I don't think he's actually supposed to be that good backside. Screw the meta. I just want to collect everything. Nidhogg, from what I'm familiar with from mythology stuff, is pretty interesting. Curious what they're going to do with that dragon. Haven't really looked too much up about his story or nothing. But I also like because he's one of the originals. I sometimes hear some more stuff about some of the newer things coming out, but I never heard too much about the original, so he's a complete mystery. Curious to see what he's about. I've been wanting to get him because he's like an original thing. Not getting some of the new stuff I'm more okay with, but not having some like the original stuff that's been out for however many months. It's kind of like, I really want to get it. And then also added Pazuzu, which I wanted to get him when he came out with the... he didn't come out with Lara Noah. He came out, I think, the next banner when they released Silas. Really wanted to get him. He looked cool. He doesn't actually poison, I don't think, but he has like poison flavor text or whatever. He looks cool. I think he's like a Gilgamesh type design or the new Shinobi design. He just looks cool. I like that design for the dragons. He looks cool, looks interesting. Wouldn't mind getting him. I can't remember what the unit, the Ventura is. But I mean, that's still would be some more Eldwater for me to get for some One Prince later, or leveling up some more units. But I think I'm actually going to do maybe a pull or two on that. I have almost 10,000 One Might saved up, so I don't really want to blow too much of it. I do have some to blow, and I know I'm probably not going to get whatever I want on the Gala banner anyway, so it's not like it's too like, oh, I need to save all I can for that one. I'm probably going to get a whole lots of other 5 stars on it, but let me just go ahead and get these, because these are focused ones. And it's like the first time, I think, since they've started doing these dragon banners, that all the focused dragons are ones I don't have and want. And I think one time it was like maybe they had 2 I didn't have, but one of them was Gilgamesh, and I already had a 5-star Gilgamesh, and then another Gilgamesh. I mean, I personally don't go for more than one of each dragon type. Basically, I did keep Shishima, but Shishima is just such a random dragon. Like, I'll take a couple extra copies of him when they did the event rerun. But for the most part, that's kind of it. Gosh, I talked a long time about Dragalia Lost, but you can probably tell I really like the game. Think it's pretty fun. I highly recommend checking it out if you're interested in it. Whenever this actually goes up, should be around the time they're doing the gala, which is a good time for new people to summon. They have, I think, they increased the odds of getting the rates for a 5-star from 4 to either 6 or 8% starting. So it's pretty likely to get some good stuff then. The summertime banner might be a limited thing, so that might be a good time to come on and pull too. So just thinking how soon I actually get this out. That will be, I think, should be a good time to come and join if you are interested. Also look forward to next time being able to give a write-up of what the astral rays are like, because I have been sitting on the maximum of puzzle pieces needed to do that for like a week now. Got like maximum of those in 2 days, and I'm really looking forward to running those and seeing actually how good that event is. I do want to do something different here. I forgot to do it last time, but I want to do like a shout out to a different YouTube channel or something each time I did one of these. I forgot to do it last time, and I kind of want to do them at the end. But since this is kind of related to what I was talking about, I want to go ahead and do it now. Shout out to Lizzie Biz, Lizziebiz. I saw it posted on the Dragalia Lost Reddit a little while back. She did a cover for the main menu theme, which all the music basically is, I think all the music. Most of it is, I know the singing, whatever that event was, I think they had some music by different people, but all the music's by Daoko, D-A-O-K-O. Really enjoy most of her music, but she did a cover of it in English, which was really good. She's also the voice actress for Lily in there, which she has grown on me over the years. Gosh, when she was added in like the first event banner, and she was everywhere. And sometimes you still see her in content she's not good in. She was just like the first 5-star that everybody was trying to show off. So I didn't really like her too much at first. But then she, over the years, she has grown on me, and actually kind of really like her voice. I've checked out the channel. I thought the song was good. Checked out some other songs. I think most of the songs she does is pretty good. I mean, I've only clicked on the ones that kind of really interest me. Like, I think watch some of the Splatoon stuff, Dragalia Lost, and there was one she did recently that I think was something from like Cinderella or something else like that. That was also pretty good. But I just want to give a little shout out to her. I think that she'd be a good channel shout out. Somebody I've been listening to a lot recently. Just shout out to Yeti. I think the first one, this one's a Yeti Let's Play channel. This one cover channel. Well, not exactly Asian music. Well, I guess Splatoon kind of is, and some Nintendo games. But I think with some My Little Pony, and gosh, this one, it's not Cinderella. I think it's supposed to be Rapunzel, but it makes me think of Cinderella. Just nice little music channel for a, I don't know, smaller voice actress. But I mean, gosh, I think the music, in my opinion, is really good. The singing voice. Been really impressed by some of the songs on there. Been listening to them a lot while doing work recently, so I do want to do a shout out there for this one, and I want to go ahead and add it in here because it's kind of related to what I was talking about this time with Dragalia Lost. Next topic up is EDF 5 is awesome. That's kind of all you need to hear. Get it. If you listen to this, you might have already got it though, because any people probably listening to this are probably also familiar with Yeti. And I know he got it and played it recently. I wasn't sure about getting. I mean, I've been waiting for this game to come out to PC, but they announced it like a stealth release. Basically, they announced, I think, like 4 or 5 days before it was coming out, it was coming to PC, and then even announced the price. And I was afraid it's going to be full price, which it was. Well, I think it was like maybe 20% off, $60 or something. So there was still, it wasn't a full price, I guess technically, but it's still going to be a full price game. Wasn't sure it was going to be full price entirely until I think like the day before it was supposed to release. EDF 4.1 went down to like $20, which is like the lowest price it's ever been on sale. So I was like, yeah, it's going to come out full price. But I've been saving up a lot for the game I'm talking about next, Fire Emblem Three Houses, and my money was put aside for getting that. I was just waiting a little bit closer because the place I was going to order it from would take it out to actually ship, and I want to have like a month's time where I have to keep like $70 on my card for whenever they decide to actually process it or something. So I hadn't actually officially bought it yet, but I had the money setting aside for it. Then EDF 5 comes out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks so good. I think I kind of basically decided to get it though the day it came out. But then I saw like Yeti did a video on it. I'm like, oh boy, I could actually play with him, because the thing was the biggest thing with EDF 5 was maybe like with not getting it was I might not be able to play it with anybody, because as much as the game is good, it's more fun in multiplayer. So I was like, oh boy, maybe I'll wait a little bit. I don't know if anybody's going to buy it when it's $60 or full price for $52, $48, whatever it was, with 20% off or 10% off, whatever it was. I can't remember how much it was. I don't think it was like too much off, but that type of game doesn't really go on sale too much, so it's a good deal actually. But so then I saw him play it, and I was like, oh, okay, he already got it. Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and get it. I might have somebody to play with. Played lots of it. It's fun. There's lots of improvements on there. The new Hector replacements with the colonists or colonizers, something like that. The frog people. Those are really nice. Shooting off limbs, having them be able to regrow limbs, them taking cover behind buildings, doing combat roles, that sort of stuff. That's awesome. A great improvement. There's lots of weapon improvements. The new leveling system with weapons is awesome, so your low tier weapons can still be really good. I like actually getting them and having them level up, because it can really change a weapon from being terrible to good, because maybe it goes from a range of 300 to now it can shoot 1,000 feet. It might go from 80 damage to 240. Might shoot 2 rounds. Now it's 3, which means not too much of an increase, but it's still like a 2-shot weapon's normally pretty powerful. Those 2 shots, now have some extra shots in there. They actually have some like support equipment for the wing diver. You can get new cores, so you can get more max energy. You can be able to move like quicker forward. This reloads 20% faster, so there's a little bit of choice there. The ranger can get armor that allows them to roll faster, pick up stuff more, do some more targeting. The fencer can get recoil equipment, some more dashes, extra armor, extra turn speed. The ranger, well, and for their support equipment, they also can choose a vehicle instead of like any armor stuff, which is nice. So they have some vehicles they can choose, which I think is really nice. As much as I like the area with summoning vehicles, I think some of the vehicles are the most fun part of EDF. So I kind of hated they all regulate just that one class, which works best with multiplayer. So if you're playing by yourself, it's not really ideal to play them. The new airstrike mechanics will actually set out a path for them to come and bomb. Being able to call in a gunship, strike location, have it just reload automatically. All of that stuff's awesome. Love the new equipment with the wing diver. There's lots of missions. There's like 110, 115 missions to go through regularly. There might be more in multiplayer. Some of the changes they've made to some of the stuff is still awesome. It's just a great improvement over 4.1. Aside from maybe some of the meme vehicles, probably not going to go back to 4.1 anytime soon, maybe ever again. This EDF 5 is that much of an improvement over the previous game. It is awesome. It's, I think, kind of been made well worth the wait. I mean, the game's already been out for a while on other systems, but it's an awesome game. I highly recommend getting it. I played it with, I think, 4 different people so far in Yeti's Discord. A whole bunch of people got it after he played, which is, I think, hysterical, because I believe he played 4.1 one time for a video, and, like, nobody cared for it. He played 5, and now, like, I think half of his subscribers might have bought the game or something. It's crazy, but it's been fun, staying up late, playing with them, playing with people from different parts of the countries, different countries. Just farming it out on there, doing missions, maybe just doing some meme stuff, going back, maybe farming a little bit, trying to get some better weapons. Just overall, excellent experience. I highly recommend doing it. There's still a little bit of wonkiness there with some of the different things. There's a couple little changes I would make, but it's a great game. I highly recommend getting it. It's awesome. It's so much fun to play with friends. Probably going to spend a couple days next week playing it all with friends, like spend the whole day playing it with other people. So I'm really looking forward to that. That should be a whole lots of fun. Next game up, we have Fire Emblem Three Houses. Let's talk about that. Trying to get the money together for that. Spent most of that money I had saved up buying EDF 5. I have finally gotten the money back together. When writing the script, I was going to put in there already. I've already bought it, but I hadn't actually done that yet today. I want to go and get this done beforehand. Still have to kind of do a little bit of a pre-order thing. Probably going to do it from GameStop. I actually do have that a window with that saved. I want to go back to it. Still $59.99. I think that's basically the price everywhere. I think Walmart might be like $59.95, $96, save a couple of cents. But that's, I mean, normally I wouldn't do that. But this does come with an exclusive pin set, just a couple extra things. I mean, not like I too much care about, but I'll probably get it there because it comes with some extra stuff. Still won't be taken out, like billing doesn't happen until the shipment is processed. Although that's what I'm saying it. The ordering, which I didn't really want to order it, although I didn't know how much if I went actually bought it in store, if they would have that. But it says I can reserve a copy at the store and pick it up there, which I'm probably going to do that and just go pick it up on the day it actually releases. And hopefully they'll have the pins for me, just kind of main reason I'm getting it there as opposed to somewhere else to save like 3 or 4 cents. But I'm looking forward to getting that. The game looks fun. Tried to stay away from like all information regarding it. They have been a whole bunch of stuff recently about the voice cast role, but the voice cast sounds kind of awesome. Looking forward to this stuff with the actual like 3 different campaigns with doing a run with each of the houses. It looks interesting, able to recruit some people from the other houses after the time skip. I'm interested about the fact that there is a time skip, but I mean, I guess it makes sense. You have the school stuff and then you leave, and 5 years later some stuff happens and war happens. it looks fun, interesting. I like the stuff we actually have companions with you. Well, not companions with you, but like the people in your army are leading a battalion, so it's not you and like 6 other people fighting against armies. It's you and 6 other people leading all these battalions of soldiers, which I'm looking forward to that. There's been lots of complaints about the art style or something, but I think it looks good enough to me. I like the character designs. Personally, I really like the character designs, some of the ones I've seen. The art, but that's mainly that's the reason I'm buying this type of game. The gameplay looks good, what little I've seen from it. Try to keep myself not spoiled, or try to keep myself not getting spoiled or letting anything get spoiled for me. Although I have seen some of the stuff where apparently kind of any class can use any weapon. I think maybe effectiveness might change. You have to maybe get trained up in a certain type of weapon to be able to be better. And like just because you give somebody a bow doesn't mean that like while they can't use it, they're actually good at using it. They might be better at using a sword. And then some different classes, I think maybe offer some different weapons. Like there's a grappler class or something that can use gauntlets so you can punch people. That sounds interesting. I think you can kind of give anybody a mount, so you can kind of make anybody a Pegasus Knight or Wyvern Rider maybe. I don't know if Wyverns have been actually announced yet or not. I did see a picture of somebody riding a Pegasus, and the Pegasus looked really nice. I think you can make anybody kind of a cavalier, but you can't give somebody that punches people a horse or something, which that makes sense. But I'm looking forward to being able to really make whatever type of character I want to make. I think that sounds really cool. Weapon trial going away, kind of, except some of the abilities, kind of okay with, I guess. The weapon triangle is kind of cool, but I'm also okay with it kind of not being there, especially with having more different weapon types. And I think it works now that you have like special skills too. That makes enough sense. Like you still send a horde of axe people at spear people, and people still die. But maybe when you do like special maneuvers that you only can do with that type of weapon equipped, it makes sense that there might be more of an impact there. And I'm really looking forward to being able to make kind of whoever I want to, because I might do a run where everybody punches people. Maybe that's what it's going to be or something. So it sounds fun for replayability there, where it's not just, okay, you can maybe promote this character to either of these 2 classes, and I'm sure there's still probably going to be some meta stuff, but I think this will allow you with more flexibility, so there's not going to be as much of a like meta strat for who to promote everybody to. Everything's kind of going to be kind of viable. I can always try out some stuff. A little bit of the romantic support stuff options sound interesting. Like, I like the idea, I think, from what I have heard of this, because I haven't read too much about it. But I think I do remember hearing something about you will have downtime in between missions to wander around monastery, campus, whatever. You wander around Hogwarts and talk to the different students and teachers and do some different activities and stuff there in the downtime, and that's how your support stuff will raise as opposed to like paying people up, which that sounds cool. I like the idea of doing it that way. Although there's a whole bunch of stink in the community about some stuff with that, which I'm not going to get into. It's too much focus on some types of relationships may not be possible. Although I do think it is interesting that it sounds like the only S support will be your character and another character, and like you can't S support other people, but there's no marriage mechanic, so there's really no reason to do that. I can't have children, so it doesn't really matter if you pay some of these people up. I'm sure they can still raise their relationship, and there'll be like a thing at the end where it's like what these people went on to do afterwards, but it's not going to be as big of a thing as maybe you might have a relationship with somebody, but that's kind of it. Which I find that kind of interesting. Just really looking forward to it. Looking forward to playing. I think one of the creators said it took like 80 hours to do one of the campaigns, which I know there's a lot of stuff there where like, yeah, but somebody who made it might spend more time or something. You might speed through it quicker, but even then still reduce that. It's still a decent bit of gameplay per one campaign, and there's 3 different campaigns, or you can choose a different house, and I'm sure there'll be a decent bit of different story there, especially at the end, more so maybe than the beginning. But then there'll still be replayability with replaying it with the same house over again, because maybe you want to support with some different characters more or something. I mean, I've been really interested in some of the things I have heard, like one theory, or one thing I have heard, somebody apparently leaked that, or I think one of the reviewers, that there is a event where at some point you will send somebody off to a dance competition or something, and that might unlock the possibility for them to become a dancer class, or you give it to somebody else or something. Like only one person maybe can become it in your army, but you can choose a different person to do it. That's like a fun, different thing to do with some of the different characters. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of story there, but I think there will be some characters that will be funny to imagine them being sent off to be a dancer, as opposed to just like you get the dancer unit. You can kind of make any of them the dancer units. I think that should be kind of funny. Have some nice replayability. Some of the downtime stuff sounds interesting. Some of the DLC they've mentioned also sounds kind of interesting. Some of the stuff sounds a little bit meh, but I might get it all with the season pass. So I might wait a little bit. I don't know. I think like the first one was just like some extra outfits for your main character, which didn't look like anything I had to have. But that might be like one of the cheaper DLCs. I don't know. I'm not sure what all the pricing stuff there is yet for that. I will probably be playing the game first for the time if I want some more stuff. But some of the things they mentioned later on down the line sound like they might be kind of fun. So I might get that. Looking forward to spending a whole bunch of time playing that. Although I'm just hoping I can play a whole bunch of that before, oh gosh, what was it? Age of Wonders Planetfall releases, because I also am looking really forward to that, and we'll be playing lots of that when that comes out as well. So that's going to be interesting. Another game I have been playing a lot of recently is XCOM 2, which I do need to go back to that. Boy, man, with EDF out now, EDF 5 out, Fire Emblem coming out in a week, I might be able to get back to this anytime soon. But I got back into that recently. Yeti started playing it again. Gonna be interested in playing it myself with some of the different mods. Installed the RPG mod again. Also turned on some like the second wave options like Beta Strike, Grim Dawn, increased turn timers, all that kind of stuff, just to really modify it up. But like the full suite of RPG enhancements things, I got like shields, dual wielding handguns, dual wielding melee weapons, all different kinds of melee weapons. Been playing through that. It's been interesting. I think I've met all three of the Chosen. I think I've got everything in Africa, and I've moved up. I think I'm covering Europe now. I don't think I have made contact yet with South America, but I'm about two continents in so far. Really having fun with that. I like all the different mod stuff. Everybody having a whole lot more health. All these different weapons, different unique skills. Like somebody starts off with I think he does more damage with acid attacks, and he starts off with a free acid grenade. So I'm like, okay, I'll make you a grenadier, or we'll give you the stuff like the grenade launcher so you can launch that, get you some of the upgrades for that, and I might give you an assault rifle or something else too. One person's real good at like stealth stuff, so I made them like a sniper with a stealth based melee weapon. I just had to do lots of random stuff on there. Had lots of fun doing that. I think I haven't yet done the Spark stuff, but I think the Spark will also have like the randomized or the new tech tree or something like that, which I need to get him at some point. I finally got some like enhanced weapons, so I wanted to wait till I got that, and also I think I wanted to wait till I got like the increased squad size. That mission is kind of a long slog. Actually, no, never mind. I actually have got the Spark. I can remember doing it now because the things took a long time to kill. The like basic drones, so they had double the health too. I waited a while because I noticed there was like an interesting, I don't know if it's a bug or not, but one of the breakthroughs you get, it was like an increased speed to researching the data pad to get intel. Well, I had multiple data pads, and apparently after you finish it, if you have another data pad available, it keeps that on there as inspired. So I just kept on doing that. So I spent like 2 months doing that, so I'm really kind of behind on tech. I think it finally got to the point where it increased with like over time, as opposed to just me getting the new gear, because I waited that long researching those. And oh god, I think I went hard into building the resistance ring and a couple other things I was behind on actually being able to upgrade my squad size, but I actually have that done now, so I can be able to do some tougher missions, and that's been really fun. Uh, Finally got convinced to go back and do the Tactical Legacy pack. That always looked kind of a little bit boring to me. Like, I think some of the well, I think it was the first time I watched somebody play it. They did it like on the hardest thing. It just didn't really look too fun. It was just a mission, and although I have grown to love it a little bit more now, but it was just kind of, man, there was some talk about like, oh, there's the mission in Scandinavia with the chrysalids and the fish or something, like that's remade, but it's like, I've already played that mission before in the other game, why do I really care to do it again here? Also, I didn't want to deactivate all my mods, got a whole bunch of mods activated, and I thought I probably need to turn those off before doing it, but I tried doing it with the mods turned on. It kind of worked. I think I did mess up with the cannons, because they now have 5 ammo as opposed to 3, but that's what the RPG mod adds to the cannons, gives them more ammo. And then there was also a problem, like, with each grenade I got, it like appeared, I think every time I teched up, it like appeared 3 times on my hotbar. I can only fire it 1 time, but there was 3 different options to do that, and there was a couple different options like pistol overwatch and aid protocol. So there was some bugs there, but I was still able to do that. Did the first campaign. Didn't know it was like a roguelike thing where it was all Iron Man, like a forced Iron Man. And after you do each mission, it gives you a choice of like equipment to get. I didn't like some of the choices, because I get one thing was like, oh, you can upgrade your grenades, but you couldn't choose who to give what to, or choose not to use some of them, because one of the things was it'd get rid of your regular grenade and give you a flashbang, which those people really like flashbangs. I don't really care for them in that game. There's not too many different things that really I never needed it for. I'd rather just blow something up, and the regular grenades helped me a lot later. I got one of my characters flanked on the rooftop with like a group of enemies. They discovered me on their turn. Well, they all grouped up next to each other, so I just threw a grenade out, blew up the floor under them, and they just fell down and got damaged, and I was able to get away from them by doing that. They couldn't just climb back up there again. I think the robot jumped back up there, but it was nice to be able to block them off that way. Then I got something with like, oh, I got, I think early on, Claymore, or not Claymore, the proximity mine of the proximity mines with my Grenadier, who I think got 2 of those. I don't know if that's random or not. But I got some of those, which those are kind of really nice to have. I forgot about how good they were. Lots of good damage. And it was like, hey, do you want to swap that out for something else later on? I'm like, no, that's not really that good. It's like, oh, you can do a armor slot. I'm like, the armor stuff, it's just kind of trash in comparison to some of the other items you could have equipped. Like, I think I did get the weapon ammo upgrades, because for the most part those were good. A little bit extra damage, some armor piercing, those were more useful. But like, I don't necessarily need everybody to have an armor vest as opposed to having a med kit or the proximity mines or something like that. So there was a little bit of a problem there. I wish sometimes I could just choose not to take any of the upgrades, so I could actually choose who got the upgrade, like who would I give it to, instead of just having to take it. But I was able to do it, beat it first try, didn't lose anybody. It was actually kind of rather easy, it seemed. I mean, there's a harder difficulty, but I got pretty close to getting the gold. I'm not sure what you actually get there. I guess, I don't know, bragging rights or something. I know there was some unlocks. That's kind of one of the reasons I actually decided to do it, is I did actually notice there was some like weapon unlocks. I think it's just like weapon skins, although RPG mod might have actually made some edits to them to make them different in this game. But I decided, yeah, if I actually upgrade, I might do that. It might be nice to be able to actually use some of those, especially now with this RPG mod. There's lots of different people. There's people with lots of different types of loadouts. Like, it might be weird if some of your the ranger people in the regular game just use 2 different types of shotguns. But this one, there's so many different kind of loadouts. It might look really nice if some people had some different styles of guns, cause this one isn't the same as that other soldier with the loadout. This one has the grenade launcher, while that one has the combat drone thing. So decided to do it. And I think I also saw like the last one. I think somebody was talking about gave you like 5 more stances for your soldiers, and like that would be nice for some randomly generated people to have some more stances. 'Cause I think some of them are kind of a little trash, but the other ones sound like they might be kind of good. So I was just like, I'll go ahead and do some more of them to get that. Only have done the first one now. I want to get back into doing the other ones, but I had other like life things come up, and then EDF 5 release, so I haven't played it in like a week or two. Do want to get back into doing that. I do want to actually beat this campaign with all these mods and everything going. Although I think I might go and do all the tactical legacy stuff first. It was more interesting than I thought, and if I wasn't going to do the EDF 5 for the background video of this one, which I'm still planning on trying to do, but I might not actually wind up doing it, was probably going to do some tactical legacy pack in the background. Then I have to maybe show some of the crazy stuff with my with the mod I have going right now. But I would highly actually recommend. I think you might actually have to buy it, but I think because I bought something else or something, I got it for free. Because also one thing I had against it too is like, oh, they want to sell that? That just sounds terrible. But if they does actually add in some new things, it might actually be worth buying if you were interested in trying it out. Also, I kind of like the maps they had for it, because I did forget how I did like some of the maps from the previous game a decent bit. And I wouldn't mind if this made it maybe show up in the rotation, or I'm hoping like one of these tactical legacy packs. I don't know what all they unlocked, but hoping they might unlock some like more maps, because some of these maps were kind of interesting. It might be nice to see them appear for regular gameplay with XCOM 2. It's a nice, very different style. But with all of that said, I think that is it for this podcast, because next up I have outro listed, and we've been going we've been going an hour and 40 minutes, so I think it's kind of time to end it. There's a couple more things I might want to add in there, but I think for this length of time, it is probably good to go ahead and end it there, because this has been going on for a long time, and I can't blame anybody for not wanting to watch an hour and 40 minutes of me just talking to myself. So until then, this is Record Ripley signing off. Goodbye and have a wonderful day, and I hope you have enjoyed this July 2019 Record Ripley podcast. And I'm glad to actually make one a month later like I'm supposed to, and I'm hoping to stay on schedule with these from now on.